What's up, everybody? It's your favorite little piggy's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the... I tried to keep it together for that. Today we're looking at the Vintage Collection Gamorrean guard. And he comes with a few accessories, so let's get started. So he comes with his guard staff, and the only way I can figure out what's going on here, because the differentiation in colors, is that it's probably a gray plastic with both the brown and silver painted on it, which is bizarre, whereas I would think normally they would just have it as brown plastic with the silver paint on it, but I dig it. And he'll hold that. And then he comes with two axes, and they're obviously styled different. One's like kind of just a flathead axe, and then the other one has this two parts to it, and they're both done the same. I think these are in, actually I think once again they're in this gray plastic here. If you can see, it gives you a better idea for the other one as well, and then the silver paint is added and the brown paint is added, which is just interesting. It's an awful lot of pride for a 3 3/4 figure, but the price kind of reflects that, I guess. And he'll hold both of those. And then the last little accessory we'll talk about is his hat, and it's brown plastic, and then it has the silver kind of accents applied, and a wash on it as well. So it's quite well done. Now for the figure, we have it might be a ball hinge. No, it's just a ball peg. It's just a massive ball peg, but you get great range out of it. Up to there, down to there, and then the swivel. There's an airbrush effect of the kind of skin tone on top of the green, and then the horns and teeth are painted, and then the eyes are actually kind of well painted as well. I can get in there and get it to focus. You know, like there's a lot of detail in there. Like it's not just like this black slopped on. So good for them. And then we have the kind of torso, once again, brown plastic with a wash. Then we have the floating piece over top, which is not connected to like his kind of situation here, which is it's a little unwieldy. Like it's a little much. It doesn't like have that weight to it to make it feel like it's like pulling down, so it ends up looking more like a tutu than it does like a proper part of his uniform, to be fair. And then we have some silver accents there as well as on the softer piece. Now the arms are on disc hinges that connect in with a peg into the chest. Because of the shoulder pads, they're a little limited. And then you have a bicep swivel at a single hinged elbow. There is tons of paint though, like it's green plastic. I think it might be brown plastic, but I think it's green, and the brown, black, and silver is painted on. Green plastic here, and then the silver is sculpted and painted, and then the wrist swivel, and that's it for the wrist. Same for the other side, except there you can kind of get it tucked under. You just kind of really got to put some effort into it to get these shoulder pads to tuck into the chest, but the engineering is there. Now, for the hips. So it's green plastic. Look, it's even washed underneath. Like even though it's all covered with the furriness, it's even washed underneath, which is nice. Green plastic with the brown painted on. And then we have a disc hinge for the knee that pegs into the thigh. This gets you a thigh swivel as well as the knee bend, which is less than 90 degrees by far. Then the wrist swivel, and they're on a disc hinge as well, so you can get up to there, down to there, but no rocker. I also would prefer ball pegs as opposed to swivels, which is what the hips are. It's very limited articulation in the legs. I found it challenging to kind of get the poses for this guy for the final thoughts, and that's a bit of a bummer. But kind of looking there, or standing there rather, looking piggy, looking super piggy, intimidating piggy, he'll kind of do that just fine. Otherwise, it's just a lot of sculpt and paint work and not a ton of engineering. And there he is, kind of in my display, and it's an upgrade. I had the old one, which I've now moved up to here. As you can see, he's back in the back. It's kind of hard to see from these angles here, but he's back in the back now, and I have the more kind of detailed and painted and good looking, better looking, I guess, option here in the front. But in a display, you'll know, the other one just kind of blends in because you don't really look at any of them independently. You're kind of just taking in the whole scene. But it is a good looking figure. Thoughts-wise, I do find him to be a little limited, and it's mainly due to the swivels at the thighs and then the bulkiness of the character design on top of that to kind of add on to a lack of articulation. And as a result, you'll find a fairly limited kind of palette to work with when getting to pose him. However, as you'll see here in these final thoughts, I was able to kind of get some good looks to him. And that's really really my main issues here, because it's the only issues really worth mentioning. I guess I could also mention that the weight of the kind of furry tutu isn't exactly as effective as I think they hoped it would be. Moving on to the positives, tons of sculpted detail, tons of paint, washes, airbrushing, 3 layers of paint on certain elements of the figure, plus 2 paint accents almost fully painted on the weapons. Like, there is a lot of pride here, but the vintage collection has gone super up in price. But if they offer all of this detail at that price, it makes me feel a little bit better about it. We're going to be having some discussions here soon regarding the vintage collection, regarding the Black Series, the price difference, and what are we getting and why should we continue, and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is coming as soon as I kind of get my feet underneath myself regarding this Star Wars stuff. But it's a recommend for me. I'm not sure if you need to update your old vintage collection one if you have that one. And to be honest, I mean, even the Power of the Force one doesn't look terrible if you have it set up in a diorama like I showed or whatever. Like, I think it still kind of holds on because this figure doesn't have to do much. This character doesn't have to do much. So all it has to do is kind of stand there and be piggy as. With that being said, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.